And welcome back to Where's My Tail, everybody. I am Brant, and sadly Lisa is not joining us this week. She did not have a chance to read. She's been very busy, but she will be back next week. But this is WMT's weekly comic countdown, episode 7, talking about books that came out on February 10th, 2016. As you guys know, we're doing just top 10s. I read 15 books this week, and I will tell you, since I was not on the Frontline live show, that my worst pick of the week of what I've read was Gotham Academy number 15. I'm just not feeling the yearbook storyline. So yeah, just did not like that book and don't like this arc. And actually, I kind of wish I'd dropped it until next semester at this point. So what are you going to do? Anyway, so as we started the precedent last time, doing top 10, and if there are any Marvel books in my top 5, I will give digital codes away on here. And I will tell you that this week, every single book in my top 5 is a Marvel book, so there will be 5 digital codes given away. The rest of them we will give away through Twitter, maybe live shows, whatever. I know we didn't get a chance to do it last week, but we will get back to that, back in the swing of things very soon. So without further ado, let's dive into my top 10 for the week of February 10th. So first up, we have Starfire, number 9. Comes in at number 10 for me. I enjoyed the book. I love the art. I'm sad it's ending. But the only reason it's a little bit lower is because it is the girls' night out. It's a bit of a slower story. It's a bit more slice of life. There's a little bit of drama here leading up to next issue mainly. A very slight bit of action here. And you know, there was some good humor here and everything, but it was just a very slow, much slower story than we've been used to in Starfire, so it just scored a little bit lower, but I still had a lot of fun with it. So that's what's going on with that one. Put it right here. Coming in number 9 for me is Miss Marvel, number 4. This book is usually higher for me. I mean, obviously it's still in my top 10, but this particular issue, I wasn't feeling quite as much as previous issues. The art seemed a little bit off to me. I don't know if it's the same artist or not. But, you know, she's I don't know, there's one scene where, like, her foot grows really big, and it looked really awkward to me. I like the fact that, you know, this kind of leads into, here's the panel. The foot just looks really weird to me there. You know, this kind of leads into what happens in All New, All Different Avengers. And don't get me wrong, it's nice art. It's just a little bit different. And, you know, it's still dealing with all the stuff that she's having to juggle with everything, and she decides to 3D print some clones, spoiler alert, but it's been out for a bit. And by the end of the issue, we see how wrong that goes. But it's, you know, it's very interesting. It kind of shows how hard of a time she's having balancing school and family and superheroing and Avengers and everything. So I thought that was a good point of the story. So that comes in at number 9 for me. Coming in at number 8, we have All New Wolverine, number 5. Again, not the best issue of this series for me. I did like seeing the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, in there, and it was kind of cool the way they had to shrink down and go fight the nanobots in one of the clones' system, and then what happens in the aftermath of that made it basically, you know, futile. It kind of brought it down a little bit for me, just because it was all focused on that kind of thing. Oh, we're inside and fighting the nanobots, and then it just, whatever they did didn't really matter in the end. So that's why it's a little bit lower for me, but I still do enjoy this book quite a bit. So comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have Old Man Logan, number 2. I know a lot of people are not enjoying this. I actually like the art in this. I actually like the story as well. He's got a hit list. If you guys read issue 1, you know Logan has a hit list of people he's wanting to take out. And he's wanting to take out Banner, but he doesn't realize this is not Banner. And so there's this altercation between them, and you know, it leads up to him finding out that it's not Banner. And I don't know. I think it's an interesting take on Old Man Logan here and his motivations and everything. And I don't mind the art at all. I actually kind of like it for this book. Fits the tone for me. Alright, so coming in at number 6 is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 2. I don't like this cover. This cover just irritates me. But I do like the story. I still think Fitz is a little bit out of character. But other than that, I thought it was an interesting story. It felt very much like an episode of the TV show, which I'm a big fan of. and we see Iron Maiden here. You know, Coulson, as always, has more knowledge than he's letting on, but even he can be duped, and you know, you see the original Lola come to play here, and maybe her motivations aren't true either, and just a lot of you know, kind of espionage and mysteries, intrigue, and a fair amount of action as well. So I enjoyed this book. I'm enjoying this series so much better than the previous Shield series that Marvel put out, which was basically one and done stories that really didn't matter. So this brings us to my top five books for this week, all Marvel. So digital codes coming. I'm gonna go ahead and show you number 5, which is Silk. Number 4. And I really did not like the previous issue because it was a different artist, and I did not like the art at all. I do really like the art in this particular issue. The artist for this one is Veronica Fish, who's the new artist on Archie. So she does a really good job with the art here. And I really like the story in this book, as you know, Silk kind of invades I mean, last issue she was thrown under the bus by Shrike, and now she's in the midst of the Goblin Nation. And what happens to her by the end is a nice little cliffhanger that's got me curious on how she's going to get out of this. I don't want to spoil that, even though it's been a week. I just thought it was an interesting twist, and so I really enjoyed this issue quite a bit. So I'm going to get the digital code for you guys right here. See if I can get it to focus. There we go. So first come, first serve. There's your code for Silk, number 4. Alright, let's get that one out of the way so we can move on to number 4, which is Guardians of the Galaxy, issue 5. Not as good as previous issues, or it would have been higher on my top 5, but still a very enjoyable issue. Love the art here. In this issue, we see a kind of a culmination of the whole Yotat story, at least for now, and you know, a little bit of history there as to why he was on their tail in the first place, which I thought was very interesting. And then we see repercussions of what happened on Spartax and what the new status quo for Peter Quill is as he rejoins the team and is kind of on the run. So, and we also, of course, got to see Baby Groot. So, sorry about that, Baby Groot. So that was kind of cool and very cute. So that's why Guardians of the Galaxy comes in at number 4 for me. And here is the digital code for Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. There you go. Alright, put that one back up. So next up, top 3 here. My number 3 book is Spiderman Deadpool number 2. First issue I thought was hilarious. This one was not quite as funny as the first one, but still a lot of fun. And we had Miles in here. Beautiful cover there. Ed McGuinness art, so you know it's going to be fantastic art. You've got Shikla in there, kind of being the voice of reason for Deadpool in a murderous, violent way, but still voice of reason. Some of the gorgeous art in there. This was a fun issue. Deadpool debuted the Dead Buggy. You know, obviously trying to play up to Spider-Man. He looks up to Spider-Man and aspires to be Spider-Man. They take on Mysterio, is in this, and it's a really fun issue again. And the whole thing is Deadpool's like trying to find out if Parker is a bad guy, and he at one point he straight up asks Spider-Man, so is this guy an evil? And he gets punched out by Miles and Spider-Man. So classic stuff here. Oh, I forgot to get the code. But hilarious book. If you guys have not tried it out, I recommend it if you're a Spider-Man fan. Even if you're not a Deadpool fan, I think it's a funny book. And it's worth the price, so you guys should check it out. But if you are a Deadpool fan, you definitely should get it. And there's the code for Spider-Man Deadpool number 2. So we're down to my top 2. What's going to be my number 1 book? I think you guys are going to be surprised. My number 2 book is All-New X-Men number 4. I really like this issue quite a bit, and I love the art. Mark Bagley is drawing it, and there's one scene where up front, yeah, Wolverine is crashing through a window. I just think that's gorgeous. And this whole issue, there's a couple of things going on. The young X-Men are kind of celebrities now because of what Cyclops did with the Ghost of Cyclops taking them down and everything, and they're trying to deal with that celebrity a little bit. Iceman gets hit on and doesn't handle it well, kind of blows it, but the meat of the issue is about Angel and Wolverine, him not coping well with her always putting herself on the front line and in imminent danger. And by the end of the issue, we get the reintroduction of Fred Dukes, the Blob, who has come into some money. He's got a nice suit. He's taking over this restaurant, and we leave on a cliffhanger of spoiler alert. Wolverine is basically getting pulverized into the ground as Angel looks on helplessly. I thought that was a great way to end it. I love this little side story between the two of them, and it kind of, you get a little bit of it in the Wolverine story, but the meat of it has been in here, their relationship. So, and that cover is very telling of exactly what the book is about, and I love that too. So, great issue of All New X-Men. Oh, I forgot to give you the code. So, as you guys are just enjoying the gorgeous art and the great storytelling by Dennis Hopeless of this book, I will look for the digital code and keep talking to distract you from the fact that I forgot it in the first place. Here is your code for All New X-Men number 4. Alright. And last but not least, here it comes. My number 1 pick of the week, which would be a huge surprise to everyone on Frontline, I believe. And that is All New, All Different Avengers number 5. Believe it or not, this issue was really good, and it really surprised me. And going back through all my books, I realized that I enjoyed this one the most. And reason being, I mean, not just because I actually like the art quite a bit. I think the art is really cool, and I think it's kind of interesting the reasons that led up to Miss Marvel, as you can see, being booted off the Avengers. And I mean, there's this subplot of them fighting this nobody villain that doesn't really matter, but in the end he kind of does. And Kane comes back into play and all this stuff. And the fact of the matter is that there's something awry here within the Avengers. And yes, Ms. Marvel, she's having a hard time keeping up, and she's writing fan fiction about the Avengers and all this stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting because it opens up with the fan fiction. You don't realize it at first, but you really catch on fast that this has to be a dream sequence or something. And it's Cap and Thor kissing, and you find out it's her fan fiction, which I thought was really interesting. Gorgeous page right there with Miles and Ms. Marvel. And we learn that in this issue that Vision is kind of corrupted, and he's kind of manipulating what's happening to these kids. And Miss Marvel's not the only one that gets kicked off, which we find in this issue. And I'm not going to spoil who else goes, but he's got this agenda, and you see this evil smile on Vision, and to me that feels like classic Avengers right there. Maybe it's a little bit of a redux, but to me it just felt like a classic Avengers type story. Maybe a gut reaction by Sam Wilson. Maybe Steve Rogers wouldn't have acted like that, but that's the beauty of having a different person as Captain America. He's not going to be a boilerplate Steve Rogers type. He is his own character, and I like the way he's written in this much better than the way he's written in his own book. But I really enjoyed this book, so I would recommend you guys checking this issue out. Even if you haven't enjoyed previous issues, I think this one was solid. Will it continue to be solid? I don't know. I didn't enjoy the previous issues as much either. But there is your code for All New, All Different Avengers number 5, which is my pick of the week. So that is going to wrap up this episode of WMT's weekly countdown. Join me and Lisa next week for episode 8 as she returns, and we talk about books that came out the 17th. Let me know what you thought about my picks and what your picks were in the comments below. Love to hear them and discuss them with you. And thanks for watching. Check out all the other stuff I'm involved with: Zone 4, Comic Frontline, Last Number Press, and Chris's channel, Dark Avenger C86. I do a few shows over there as well. And of course, stay tuned to Where's My Tail for even more. So thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.